There are four types of owners, you may say, or four types of properties in the marketplace when you're looking at houses. All of these aren't new categories. All of these categories have been there in the past. It's just some of them are becoming more and more noticeable. First one is pre-foreclosures. A pre-foreclosure is essentially Joe in his first 30 days. So they've realized that they can't pay for their house. They know that either a notice of default has been filed or is going to be filed, meaning that there's an election to sell and it's going to be sold on the courthouse steps. These people in a pre-foreclosure, the majority of them, they're not doing a short sale, whether they think that it's not their fault that they're in this situation because their mortgage broker gave them a raw deal and put them into a bad loan and it's not their fault and the bank won't work with me. The majority of them are unreliable and irresponsible. So there are people out there who make a living tracking pre-foreclosure homes, and what they do is they get the notice of default sheet. I get one every week from my title company, and they track those and they track when the sale date is and they look at it to see how much potential equity is in that house, and they just watch it. And the majority of them are saved. Some, I just got the list today, and there's a couple on there where they're only deficient like $4,900. Well, many people can go to a family member or a friend and borrow $5,000 to save their home. So they track them, and when it gets close to the sale date, they just go knock on the people's door and say, hey, I know your home's going to be sold next week. Sell it to me. You've got X amount of equity. You've got $80,000 worth of equity. If it goes to auction, you're going to get zero. I'll give you $60,000. I'll give you $20,000 right now to sell me the house. And I actually had some friends in this situation, and he'd be out washing his car, and people would stop, get out, and come up and start talking to him about selling his house, and his kids standing there going, Dad, we're not selling our house, are we? So very embarrassing. We talked about short sales, Joe's situation. The third is REO, or bank-owned properties. REO stands for real estate owned. Those are homes that have gone to foreclosure, have gone through the foreclosure process, they've been sold at the courthouse steps, and there was not an investor buyer. So the bank ended up back with it in their lap, and they have given it to a realtor that they do business with to list those homes. I feel these are the best values in the marketplace today because the banks have much deeper pockets than the average seller. Strategies for bank-owned properties, they want it off their books. The banks aren't in the real estate business. They are in the banking business. So they need to get those off their hands, which is one reason why they're doing a lot more short sales than they used to. Loss mitigation departments are the fastest growing departments of banks right now. So they didn't want it back, but they got it back, and they just want it gone. And I've seen many that have actually sold for less than what the bank paid for it at auction.